I go to work. Today we're going to read more of Diary of a Wimpy Kid. Let's begin. That meant there were no potty breaks. And 30 minutes into the competition, Drew was really wishing he had it just downed a 64-ounce soda. Drew was the first person to drop out, but a long time went by before anyone else did, and 3 hours later, everyone was still going strong. A lot of the contestants had packed coolers with food because they must have known they were in for a long night. But Roderick and the other guys weren't prepared, so Roderick called Mom and asked her to bring them sandwiches. Mom was too busy to drive down to the dealership, so she sent me on my bike. And when I got there, I handed the guys their food. Bill was paranoid that he was going to accidentally take his hand off the van, so he kept both hands on the vehicle. And that meant I had to feed him, which was kind of awkward. I stuck around for a little while, but it was pretty boring watching a bunch of people standing there doing nothing. So I went home, but in the morning, Roderick's van wasn't in the garage, which meant he was still at the dealership. Mom sent me back down there with bagels and orange juice. And even though a lot of contestants had quit overnight, there was a handful of people still in it, but some of them looked like they were ready to crack. A few contestants started playing mind games to psych each other out. One lady began singing really loud. And out of tune. And so some old guy opened up a can of what smelled like expired tuna. Another guy started reading the phone book from the beginning to annoy everyone else. And I guess that was too much for Mackie because he lost his nerve before the guy even got through the B's. It was pretty clear that sleep deprivation, oh hi viewer, what's up, was taking its toll on everyone. And one lady got eliminated for trying to pet a dog that wasn't even there. A few hours later, there were only a few people left. Bill and Roderick seemed like they might fall over at any second. And they were up against a lady who looked like she could easily go another 2 days. And I think the guys were seriously considering giving up at that point. But the lady was watching some game show on her TV, and when she got a question right, she lost her focus long enough to get eliminated. I thought that was the end of the contest, but it wasn't. Because Bill and Roderick got into an argument over which of them should actually win the van. Roderick said it should be him because, 5 people, nice, let's go. But Bill said it should be him because he had never had his own vehicle before. And these two guys are more stubborn than I realized because neither of them budged for 2 whole hours. Around 10 o'clock, by the way, how are you guys doing? Let me know how you're doing in the chat. Roderick came up with a compromise. He said that they could share their vehicle, and whenever the band didn't need the van for a show, Bill could use it. That's good to hear, Brittany. I'm glad to hear you're doing great. Bill said he was okay with that. So they took their hands off the van at the same time and shook on it. But they probably should have checked to make sure no one was on the other side of the vehicle. because they let go. I'm pretty sure the guy who ended up winning was only a few minutes late from throwing in the towel himself. After the Hands on the Van contest, good morning, Beer Gut Garage. How you been? It's been a great morning on my end. Roderick and his bandmates realized they weren't going to be playing shows anytime soon. So they've been brainstorming other ways to get their music out there. They decided what they needed to do was post a bunch of stuff on social media and build a following. That way, so they created an account and started posting clips of them playing music in our basement. Those first posts didn't get many views, so they decided to change things up by filming in more interesting places, but those videos didn't take off either. Then the other day, Bill dropped a speaker on his foot and Mackie was filming when it happened. They posted that video as a joke. I'm real good. I hope you are too. Yeah, I'm doing real good as well. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, I'm doing really good. I slept well and I'm going to work after this. They posted that video as a joke and it was their most popular one yet. Then they started posting a lot more stuff like that and their channel really took off. Ooh, nice. But after a few trips to the emergency room, the guys realized things had gotten out of control. Even though they had a ton of likes, they weren't getting their music out there, which was the whole point to begin with. So the guys went back to just posting clips of them playing music and they lost a ton of followers. After a while, they even gave that up because it wasn't worth the hassle. Wednesday. Roderick decided that Loaded Dipper should forget about filming clips for social media and focus on making real music video instead. So the guys have been watching all of Metal's early videos, and they decided their best one was for the song Dog Eat Dog, which they filmed at a kennel with real chihuahuas. The reason that video is so famous is because nobody fed the dogs before the shoot started. And as soon as they opened the cages, the dog went after the lead guitarist, who was snacking on a ham and a cheese sandwich. Roderick and the guys spent a lot of time talking about what they could do in their own music video to top Metal Chihuahua. Drew said maybe they could shoot a video in the sewers, but they couldn't figure out how to get Roderick's drums down the manhole. Mackie suggested they film their song Mackie House in the real monkey house at the zoo, but they were a little worried the monkeys might act up. Then Bill said they should do a video where they parachuted out of a plane. And Roderick liked that idea because it said it would get people's attention. But Mackie has a fear of heights, so he vetoed that one. Drew said that maybe they could do what Metal Chihuahua did for their Dog Eat Dog video, only with babies. And everyone seemed to like that idea because they couldn't remember anyone doing something like it before. But it turns out you can't just borrow a bunch of babies for a few hours, or at least you can't in the state where we live. The guys realized they were getting a little ahead of themselves. Anyway, because they needed to record a song before they could start thinking about making a music video to go along with it. Loaded Dipper has recorded some of their music before, but they've never actually used professional equipment to do it. Last year, they taped a bunch of stuff on Manny's toy tape recorder, but I guess the playback quality isn't great on those things. And anyway, Mom erased everything they recorded after she got a call from the teacher at Manny's preschool. Roderick said it was time to do things the right way and record their music in a real studio. But just like everything else, those types of places cost a lot of money. So Bill asked his grandma if he could be a few months late with the rent, which gave the guys just enough money to pay for some time in a recording studio. And even though they only needed one song to make a music video, they decided to record enough songs for a whole album. Thank you guys for watching this, by the way. I really appreciate it. Tell me about yourselves, how everything's been, and just feel free to chat in the comments. Chat in the live. Roderick says that when Metal Chihuahua was big, bands used to put out albums with cool artwork on the record covers. And he's got a few of their best albums on the wall above his bed. Roderick says that nowadays, people don't appreciate album art because they just download music on their phones. His plan is to release Loaded Dipper's first album as a vinyl record, so the art can be really big. Roderick and his bandmates went to a recording studio downtown today, and I decided to tag along. There was one room where the engineer had a bunch of computers, and another room with lots of instruments and microphones. I guess the guys were pretty excited about all the different instruments because as soon as they saw them, they had to play every one. Eventually, Roderick said it was time for them to get serious. I thought they'd start recording songs right away, but they hadn't even decided which ones to put on their album yet. And if you ask me, they probably should have figured that out before they got into the studio. It turns out Loaded Dipper has over 50 songs, and they spent a lot of time trying to whittle it down to the 10 they wanted to record. And I have no idea what made them choose some songs over others, because from the titles it felt like they were all about the same kind of stuff. Roderick thought they should have at least one track with swear words in it because that way you get a parental warning sticker on your album. And he said if you don't have one of those stickers, teenagers won't buy it. But Mackie said he didn't want to have any songs with swear words because he wanted to make an album his mom could enjoy. So Roderick said if they were making music for Mackie's mom, then they might as well just quit now. Alright then, well, that's it for today, but I hope you liked my reading, and I hope you all have a good one. Keep it rigid. Peace.